Good evening, everybody. We have actually gotten underway quite promptly, so we're going to do introductions now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to SSRL's final race of F1 24. Of course, the season finale, round 16 of season 5 of the mandatory two-stop rule. For pit stops in a 50% race, I am your commentator, broadcaster, G Dave 11, and of course, we will be bringing you every single lap and every single minute of the qualifying session of tonight. And of course, it's a full qualifying session in Silverstone to finish up the season. So, of course, 16 rounds are going to be completed by the end of tonight. We already know Andy Andre is champion, and of course, fellow son has confirmed second place. He will not be showing up tonight, of course. Sadly, we do not have anybody to fill in. I do believe Herman will be joining us in the commentary box. I don't see him out on track initially, so I don't know what he's up to. He didn't join me in the commentary box before getting underway. But at the moment, let's focus on the battle for third, because it is David and Moksha separated by 4 points. So they have got it all to fight for. Pleasant Snake in his own little race, to be honest with you. He's got 5th, whatever happens, but it's to Brad, John, and Mustasiri to also keep an eye out. They are separated by 16 points. That could go either way. Then it's 9th and 10th and 11th. That's the battle for the final, well, for the 2 top 10 spots. Quincy could snatch 10th place away from Energetic, but we'll have to see how the evening plays out for him. Then we've got Chenzo in 13th there. Of course, he came back last week, and we'll go through his results in just a second. And then it's Daryl and Race Chase rounding out your top 15. Then from 16th to 20th is Gino, Toby, Flip, Wouter, and Control. Then from 21st to 25th, it is Ghost, Falcon Warrior, Bavish, Sergeant Dempsey, and No Sebo. Then it's Quan, Saba, Ebo, Evor, Rolly, and Truckster rounding out your top 30. And of course, the constructors, we will go, well, Mercedes have confirmed themselves as champions. No one can catch them. So the battle is shifting for second place between Alpine and Sauber. Aston Martin and Red Bull will be fighting tonight, 4th and 5th. And then, of course, we have Williams. Don't think they're going to really go any higher than 6th. So then we look at the battle for 7th place between Ferrari, Haas, McLaren, and Racing Bulls. Those 4 teams separated by 21 points. That could go either of which way. But either way, we have something to look at as we go into the final round. So let's see if Herman has joined me in the commentary box. He has not. So I don't quite know where he is. I will just undeafen for him. And I'm sure he'll say hello if he is with us tonight. But anyway, of course, it is the last race. So we've already got a McLaren completing their outlap, but I'm just trying to figure out where everybody else is. And there's Herman the German. He's out on track. So there we go. I didn't get any notification about this, but there's your co-commentator ripping it up in the Haas car. And, well, sending off F1 24 for us, of course, Season 1 champion, and came runner-up in Seasons 2, 3, and 4, but not without a fight, of course. But it was always Andy that got the best of him, and of course, talking about Andy, he's of course champion, 4th season in a row for him. But we are going to look at Herman the German. I got no idea. I had no clue he was racing tonight, by the way. So this is a bit of a surprise for me, as I'm sure it is just as much for you. But anyway, we appreciate Herman. We were a bit short on attendance today, so I think Herman's just gone and done the right thing and just filled in. But Sir Ibo has already retired from the session. I think there's been a crash. There's a McLaren involved in that as well. And a Ferrari. Who is that? Is that Toby there? Let's just cut away for a few seconds. No, that's his teammate Red Dog and Ibo getting involved with one another. But Herman is coming across the final corner now. He's the first one to set a lap. There we go. So it's Red Dog who's into the pits now after contact with Sir Ibo. But Sir Ibo and Red Dog having a collision. That was through Stowe Corner. So Sir Ibo won't go any further than qualifying 1. Unfortunate for the McLaren driver, but the Ferrari driver has a lot more time. Well, has a bit of time to repair his damage as Kvachka across the line in the V-Carb. A 1:28.751. And if you're half a second away from Herman, that usually means you've got decent pace. The other Haas, no, there's no other Haas out on track at the moment. That's just Herman. I'm just trying to figure out who is where. I think we've got Sergeant Dempsey on a flyer, but there's a Williams a bit further up the road. Pleasant Snake, though, it's either Quincy or Pleasant Snake. No, that's an Alpine. How are the colours I really wish the colours would be a little more obvious as to whose blue is who, but, you know, V-Carbs is easy, Red Bulls is easy, but then when it comes to Alpine and Williams, I struggle to tell the difference. But anyway, so there would be Devsey, that's next across the line in this first qualifying session to set a lap. He comes across into club now coming through the final couple of corners, gonna set a time. It will be a 1:29.385 for the Kick Sauber, and of course, the Kick Sauber represented tonight by Jamaican Jam and the driver we are currently looking at, as Jamaican Jam's had a moment going through Luffield, so I wonder if he just got a bit desperate on his right foot there. But Jamaican Jam, I believe, has had the praise of Quincy there. There's been another time on the board as well. Toby with a 1:28.467, and he's up to second place, but then Chenzo across the line, 1:27.167, and I think that is your marker to beat tonight. Andy Andre, your champion, is also out there as well, but Jolly Boy John in this battle for 6th with his teammate, who actually hasn't shown up. He's up to second place there with a 1:27.8, so he's just under 7/10 of a second away from the pole position time. But Cabran not racing tonight. That is a bit of a shame. So Bavish will be in place, and, well, Bavish, a quick driver, but does kind of fail to score good positions for one reason or another. Moksha is another one. Jamaican Jam is gone. He's retired in the pit lane and won't take any further part in qualifying one. So that's two drivers we know that are already gone. David came across the line there, but not a representative time. So now the spotlight goes to Moksha. Of course, those two involved in a battle for third, separated by 4 points. Danger David, well, just kind of needs to kind of stick around him. Remember, the points from first to fifth are the only point separation. So, of course, first to second, 25 to 20, so 5 points. Then from second to third, 20 to 18, that's 2 points. And then third to fourth, that's 3 points. And then fourth to fifth, that's 3 points. And then, again, fifth to sixth, 2 points. And then from there on out, it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From 6th to 15th. And here we go. Moksha across the line. Qualifies Danger David for now, but I imagine David was just getting himself set up. No. That was a genuine lap from the Red Bull driver, so something's not gone right there. Tokyo drifts into the pit lane entry. Eugene has also come up with a great time, so Quincy under a bit of pressure here. Bruiser, of course, is also out on the track now. He's just started a flying lap in the Red Bull. And, well, Danger David's not off to a great start, a 1:33.8. I wonder if he was involved in contact somewhere. And would you know it, Andy Andre to the top of the timing boards with a 1:27.004. Now, just for last night's race, of course, we have Division 1 on a Monday and Division 2 on a Tuesday. Division 2 is the continuation of the previous seasons. Of course, SSRL built itself as a Tuesday night league, but since with drivers coming in, has expanded itself across the 2 weekdays at the beginning here. So pole was a 1:26.640 from Andy Andre, and the fastest lap in the race was a 1:27.289 also from Andy. So Andy has a pretty good grasp of this Silverstone circuit, and as we watch Bruiser go through Maggots and Beckett's now, he'll be hoping to do better than 20th place in qualifying. Well, he will do better than 20th place in qualifying as long as he sets a time on the board. Unfortunately for him, fortunately for him, 2 drivers already out, so he could at least get 18th. Well, he could at the very maximum get 18th, but at the very least could be looking to just get out of qualifying 1 and won't really care about the result. So we'll see what happens. But Bruiser now through the final couple of corners in club, goes across the line now. That's a 1:30.421. That gets him ahead of his teammate Danger David at the very least. But I do believe Enzo and Andy are still out on the track as of right now, but I think they're just coming in for their in-laps. I don't think they're actually trying to improve, but Enzo might be trying to improve. He wants pole position. Enzo, remember, we still have 2 qualifying sessions to go. It's a full qualifying session this evening. Do remember that. But Bavish is also on a flyer. He's just gone through Sector 1 now, and he's come out of, I believe it is called Aintree. He just certainly has that little left-hander there. Bit of a fun fact about Aintree. It last hosted the British Grand Prix back in 1962. It's actually a circuit based in Liverpool, and if you know a horse race called the Grand National, it is hosted at that very venue. But sadly, Formula 1 is not. And why do I know so much about Aintree? Well, it's my nearest historical Formula One track. I've actually been in the passenger seat of my dad's Caterham. So a bit of a fun fact there for you. I've actually been around an historical F1 circuit, and yeah, it's different to your modern day circuits. I'll give you that for free. But of course, focusing on things tonight, Bavish has gone through Sector 2 now, of course, hoping to bring the Aston Martin team ahead of the Red Bull team. Bavish, a very good pick for tonight, as Tabran, who was in that battle for 6th place and actually leading the way, sadly not with us tonight for one reason or another. I know drivers are fed up of the game, but that means Tabran could be relinquishing 6th place before the end of tonight. And Bavish there straight to 3rd place, so the Red Bulls have got it all to do. Danger David has also just started on a flyer, but let's see what else is happening round on the track. We have got Quincy and Snake on flyers. Quincy is just coming in to Brooklands now, and then into Luffield, as they go at Chenzo there, improving on his personal, improving on the fastest lap. It's a 1:26.687. And there we go. So Andy might have some competition. Pleasant Snake in the Williams, 1:26.966. Now, of course, they are not on for any sort of improvements, I do not think now. But if Quincy can put a lap together and get the Williams a bit higher up, as it goes, looks a bit sketchy through Maggots and Beckett's there. Now onto the Chapel Curve, which is the left-hander even, exiting out of the chicane. Williams could be on for a really exceptional result. I'll, of course, update you on what they need to do to try and go a bit higher up, but Williams really in a standing of their own. It should be about 6th place, but if they catch up to 5th place, well, could make life a little interesting. And there we go, Quincy, 5th place. Well, the Williams team just got a little more attractive there, so let's see how that plays out. But anyway, got a couple of other drivers currently out on a flyer, and I'm just trying to figure where everyone is. Herman, has been relegated to 11th. I was trying to look at Toby there. Somebody else has gone fastest. Well, has gone faster. And that was, I think, Danger David with a 1:27.253. He gets himself up to 4th place. 6-second improvement. So might have been impeded on his first flying lap. So luckily, we don't need to look too much into that. But that has bumped a few drivers down the running order. But at the moment, in your drop zone, of course, we will say goodbye to Jamaican Jam and Sir Ibo at the end of qualifying 1. We are just waiting for Race Chase, Tark and Gino to set a time, and then we'll fully know with a picture then. But Toby is able to improve up on his personal best, but when it comes to positional best, unfortunately, he is still where he is in 12th. Herman was a couple of seconds slow there through the next sector, so he's just on a cooldown lap as of right now, but Race Chase is one to look out for now. So as long as he just completes this lap, he will qualify ahead of Jamaican Jam and Sir Ibo at the very least. Of course, Red Dog and Sir Ibo actually had a collision on their opening flying lap. Sir Ibo unable to complete his, and Red Dog needed to come in for repairs, currently in 15th. So we'll see if the Ferrari driver can at least make his mechanics' lives worthwhile to try and get that Ferrari into the next qualifying session. But Ferrari really struggling here. They are in a battle for the Constructors' Championship, which I will touch upon after qualifying, as Quincy doesn't feel he needs to go any faster. Currently 6th place and is 10 places away from the drop zone, so it doesn't really matter. He doesn't feel he's not going to find an improvement, and he doesn't really need to worry there. So if you qualify, so now with, of course, the 2 drivers retiring, as there you go, Race Chase up into the top 10. And I think that will be the last of the top 10 we see. But anybody that is between 11th to 15th and below is going to be a little more on the edge of their seat. They're going to be thinking about this, as Kavachka has retired. I don't know why. Pleasant Snake does as well. I don't think we've got any lobby issues. Are you there next season, Davies Navy? I most certainly will be, yes. When the new game comes out, you can most certainly count on me being in the commentary box. So there you go. Herman the German is improving on his personal best. Do remember that the delta on the top right does not compare to the session best. It only compares to the driver's personal best. So when comparing to the overall fastest lap, you'll just need to do a bit of math and compare it to the times around the driver at the very least. But thank you, of course, for resubscribing at Tier 1 for 5 months. Thank you for your continued support of the channel, as Herman could cross the line there, just over 3.5 tenths into 10th place. And that is a solid time. That should I would say see him into qualifying 2, but it is very much on the edge of his pants here. He will be in trouble when it comes to the next qualifying session as wow. Eugene there, not afraid to take those sausage bumps on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's through to Chapel. Now down the, what I think is called the Hanger Straight, down through the right-hander of Stowe. Of course, you do have to brake a little bit, go down the gears so that the car will turn. Now this little straight is Vale coming into Club. The final few corners around this historic circuit, which of course has 18 turns at a length of 5.9 kilometers, which translates to about 3.6 miles. Eugene completes those in with a 1:27.573, which gets him up to 8th place. And that actually pips him ahead of his teammate as well, so not bad stuff at all. But Sergeant Devsey, with 2 minutes to go on a flying lap, has got an improvement here of a 0.4 of a second. Needs to be ahead of Kovachka, and Bruiser is also on an out lap as well. Don't know if the American driver has the pace. Moksha retires. I don't think he feels under any threat. Will be a very different story going into the next qualifying session though. But here we go with just over a minute and a half to go. Devsey, if he completes this at 15th place, and Kovachka is out of qualifying. With that, he will need to come up with one of his epic drives to get himself into the top 10. Let's check out where he qualified last time. That was 14th place, found 8 positions, up into 6th place. And that meant he had yet another top 10 finish. And he's been very good at those throughout the season. But now, Devsey under pressure from Rendog and Bruiser. Bruiser is currently out on a flying lap. He is just coming through into, well, it's just going through Village, go through the loop now, and then into the left-hander of Aintree, which we've already alluded to. Well, DRS opening very late there, not really reacting on the line there, so that will have cost him a couple of tenths, but up 4.44 tenths of a second there, and he is looking, well, looking good in this early part. But oh no, he spun, and I think that is Bruiser out of qualifying. He's on the grass, got a bit desperate with his right foot, and the American driver says goodbye to qualifying. Devsey retires, but there's Red Dog still out there. Hang on a minute, this qualifying session isn't over just yet, and Red Dog has matched him through Sector 1. And now coming through Lovefield onto the old start-finish straight. It could be trouble. Of course, we used the new start-finish straight from either, I think it was from 2011 onwards, or 2010. It's one of the two. And now coming through the old first corner called Cops, now coming into Maggots and Beckett. Of course, these section corners end Sector 2, and then, of course, you go through Stowe, beginning Sector 3. Here we go. Red Dog might be about to knock out Sergeant Devsey. Still 0.2 of a second up in Sector 2. Coming down the Hanger Straight now. Red Dog has got a few more corners to put together yet. It's not over. And if he can get Club perfect, that's where Sergeant Devsey suffered last time out. Let's see what the Ferrari driver can do. One Ferrari is through. Can the other get through here in Silverstone? It's going to be a... No! He didn't! No, yes, he did! 13th! Yes, he did! He's knocked out Sergeant Devsey. He's done it, and Tarcangino is on a lap as well. 8 thousandths up in Sector 2. The Ferrari driver of Red Dog gets the team into qualifying 2. Sauber are fully knocked out, but I don't think Tarcangino improved on that. He is 15th still, so he just scrapes through into qualifying 2, but very likely to say goodbye to him when we get to the next session. So Enzo is your, by far and away, your winner in qualifying 1, Pleasant Snake 2nd, Andy Andre 3rd, Danger David 4th, Bavish 5th, Quincy 6th, Race Chase 7th, Eugene 8th, Moksha 9th, Jolly Boy John rounding out the top 10. Then it's Herman the German 11th, it's SSRL Energetic 12th, Rendog 13th, 14th Toby, 15th Tarcangino, and we say goodbye to Devsey, Kovachka, Bruiser, Jamaican Jam, and Sir Rebo, the bottom 2 drivers not setting a time in qualifying 1. Okay, well, we've had 18 minutes of one qualifying session. It is now time for 15 minutes of another. Qualifying 2 will be the next knockout session. We say goodbye from places 11th to 15th. 15 minutes to set your fastest time. But, of course, you now have to start being careful of the tyres that you do use. So, It's going to be interesting to see what drivers decide. So, of course, everybody out on soft tyres for qualifying, but now it's just about managing the sets you've got. Do you just use an old tyre to try and set a time in qualifying? As we see an Aston Martin out, that'll be either Jolly Boy John or Bavish. That's followed by an Alpine. We'll get that information in a few moments' time. The sole Red Bull of Danger David comes out of the pits. So Bruiser not really bringing it. Of course, he had that mistake on his final flying lap through Luffield. Just got a bit desperate on his right foot. And then that was pretty much the end. So it was Bavish that actually gets out first here in Silverstone. Going through Club now into the loop. I realised we didn't actually ride on board with any driver in qualifying. So I will be sure to do that in this session. The countdown has begun for qualifying 2. We've said goodbye to the drivers in 16th and 20th, and now it is a case of trying to get into the top 10 to survive yet another day. Chances of me making it Q2 are as high as fellas of winning the title as of right now. Hello, Herman. I got no notification you weren't coming tonight, so I was a bit gobsmacked when I saw you out on the track in a Haas, out of all things. I think that's actually kind of poetic, because Season 1 for Herman was actually taken in a Haas, that he became Season 1 champion in that very car. So I think he'll have fond memories of that. And I think he's just riding it for the sake of riding it. But Herman not feeling confident about his chances going into qualifying 2. Bavish will, at the moment, set the time and will be the gauntlet to beat throughout these next, well, we'll say 12.5 minutes. It was Quincy's idea. Okay, he did not inform me. But anyway, that's in the past now. We've reached the 13-minute mark, and we are about to see the first set of flying laps. So let's go on board with the Aston Martin of Bavish here. Bavish has struggled for results all season, but can he bring something together in this final round? Here we go in Silverstone, down the new start-finish straight. We go into the first corner, and then coming into Village. Which is this right-hander, then into the loop. This left-hander here, locking up the tyres, but he still manages to get the car rotated now through this this fast left-hander. Aintree, first DRS zone is here, and now we have got to go down into Brooklands. We approach on the left-hander. Again, very fast there. And then the right-hander of Luffield. Got to slow it down a little bit. Try and get the car rotated. But you want to be more on the outside so that you can have the acceleration on the exit. Carry it through. The old start-finish straight here as we go into Cops Corner. Should be a flat. Let's hear it. Little lift through there on the exit. But using a bit of battery down this little straight as we go into Maggots and Beckett's here. Left, and right again. And then finally a flat left-hander Chapel Curve. The next DRS zone is here. And then you go down the hanger straight. Now you're just thinking about the right-hander for Stowe. Where's my braking point? Because it's a medium to high-speed corner. There you go. Rear end slipping out a little bit, but not too badly. Is able to get that rotated. Now, the final few corners. It's Club. Then left, then right again. Make those apexes, get on that exit curb so that you set yourself up for this final right-hander. And that is a great time from Bavish. That is a 10th off of Chenzo last time out. And Moksha just behind by just under half a second. In second with a 127.2. The Red Bull of Danger David is next across the line. He's fighting for third with Moksha in the championship on 127.823. He is behind his third place rival as Race Chase across the line as well into third. 127.711. Herman also coming in with a time fifth place of 128.231. Who is next across the line? It's going to be Red Dog, but the couple of cars ahead of him, there's Jolly Boy John as well. So both Aston Martins qualifying, Jolly Boy into fifth. And then we're going to see the Haas of Tarkagino, 128.558. And then Red Dog with a 128.135 yellow flag for a slow-moving vehicle. Going down the Wellington straight there, so no problems at all. As Eugene had a invalidated lap, so the only one not to set a time in, is just starting the flying lap now. Will be completing the final few are going to be Chenzo and Andy Andre, but some drivers deciding not to go out. The field was that densely packed. Down the old start-finish straight now comes Energetic through the right-hander of Cops. Now all that separates him is this little straight between Maggots and Beckett's. A fast set of corners, of course, here in the British track. He's going to approach Chapel now, taking the sausage curbs as well. Not usually optimal, but with the quirks of this handling model, looks like drivers get away with it. He's not the only one doing that as well. Of course, the V-Carb hoping to try and get out of last position. They're currently tied up in a battle with Ferrari, Haas, and McLaren. So they are currently lying on 126 points, and the next car, well, the next team ahead of them is the McLaren on 133, as well as the Haas. So a lot of pressure riding on him, and that's one of the V-Carbs up into 4th place there. So not bad stuff at all. Energetic there, up into 4th place there. I'm just realizing we don't actually have the other V-Carb here, so I need to scratch what I said. So never mind, but Energetic seems to be leading the way as of right now. But wait, I thought we did. I'm sorry, I'm getting all sorts confused. I'm going to just shut up. But anyway, we are now seeing Energetic, and the track is very quiet at this time. And so Chenzo even is coming towards the start of his flying lap. He's just down the Hamilton straight now, going down into, what is it called? Abbey. Yes, there you go. Abbey and Farm Curb. I got there eventually, I promise you that. But anyway, Andy is now coming across the line. Your world champion for the 4th season in a row from seasons 2 to 5. He has been nearly unstoppable. And Andy to pole by over 0.4 of a second there. Not bad stuff at all. But what has Chenzo got in response? He is coming into Brooklands now, and through Luffield he will go in just a few moments' time. And then it'll be on to the old start-finish straight through Rudcote, which is this small right-hander through here. And there's your old start-finish line. I think it is still used as the Silverstone Nationals start-finish straight. So that's, of course, the shortened circuit here. You actually take a right going into Maggots. You take that right just here, and then that brings you onto a long straight and takes you directly into Brooklands even. But here we go. Down the hanger straight now for Enzo, and this is looking like a good time. But 103 usually gets you in and around the times that you require. Red Dog is also out on a flyer as well. No, he's just into the pits now, so he was just ahead of this McLaren. And of course, the McLaren's fighting with the V-Carbs. But only one of each team through to the second part of qualifying. Can they both make it into the third part? So far, yes, that's Chenzo into the 126s again. That's 3rd place for the McLaren driver. And Energetic there has decided to go out onto another flyer, so he believes he just needs to make this a bit safe there. Of course, remember, it's the drivers from 11th to 15th we say goodbye to. Eugene as well, under pressure. Pleasant Stake under pressure. So that's where we'll have a clearer picture. And then going into the last few minutes of qualifying, we will know who needs to make it out. But it's looking like both Hasses in a bit of trouble here. Well, Moksha and... No, well, the V-Carb team looking like they're having a good one with Energetic riding the flag for them. 0.3 of a second. He is up in Sector 2 on his personal best, remember. Do keep that in mind. And he will, well, out-qualify Quincy and Moksha at the very least. But, of course, there'll be still 6.5 minutes to go. And I imagine Moksha and Quincy are going to go out for just one last run. Remember, they've got to save these tyres for the 50% race as well. But here we go. Final corner in Club. And that is a 126.992. That sees the V-Carb safely through into the next session of qualifying. But Eugene has just invalidated his time. What about Pleasant Stake, who is actually behind him, approaching Brooklands now? He's just gone through Sector 1. Of course, we don't have any delta for the personal best to compare him with. I wish it would compare with the session best, but sadly, you can't win them all. But there you go, with 6 minutes to go. This is a high-pressure lap for the Williams driver. His teammate Quincy has done enough so far, but I imagine Quincy will need to have another run. He can't consider himself safe just yet, and the Ferrari's in a bit of trouble as well. It would be a little bit of a shock if we didn't see one of the Ferraris go through, considering, well, then again, would it be? I don't know, considering where they are in the constructors. Well, they're fighting with 10th place with the V-Carbs there, so that just gives you an idea of where things stand. But Energetic's teammate really needs to pull out the stops into the race. Can Pleasant Stake make qualifying 3 and make life interesting for a team at, well, nearer the top there? Of course, I did say I was going to go through constructor standings, but the difference between qualifying 1 2 was so short that I didn't have time. But there you go, Pleasant Stake out-qualifying his teammate by just under 0.2 of a second there. That is from 6th to 7th for the Williams team, and I don't think that's safe as Jolly Boy John now comes through the line. He's just on a 127.406, so this ain't safe just yet. And Danger David is now on the bubble, and he's down just over 100 in Sector 1 on his personal best, remember. So Danger David, of course, fight with Moksha for third place in the championship, is currently 6/10 behind. Now, did he just have a small mistake somewhere? Maybe through Maggots and Beckett's. We'll see how good this is. A bit wide through there, but he should be able to carry more momentum, all things considering. And that's 2/10 of an improvement, so that definitely means Sectors 2 and 3 were a bit of a problem for the Scottish driver. Let's see how he is going through Stowe. And looking good so far as he goes through Vale into Club. A bit of a look up there, but still managing to get the car rotated, so not looking too bad at all. Now onto the start-finish straight. That is 7th place for the Red Bull, but I wouldn't even consider that one safe either. Who is currently out on a flyer? It's Toby, who is the furthest along in this group. Bavish and Chenzo, I think, have decided to go on another flyer as well. Jolly Boy John, of course, we just saw come across the line and register that time. He's put himself into 8th, and Quincy and Race Chase all of a sudden not looking safe anymore. Herman and Tarkangino. Well, Herman on an outlap, but the House of Tarkangino currently on a flyer, and is currently, both cars are in the middle of traffic there, so the House just need to be a bit careful so that they could get Tarkangino through. But Toby straight to the pits there. Unfortunate for him. And Rendog as well, I think, has just set a time, but I'm not too sure. We'll see how he looks. Does he come into the pits the same as his teammate? There's only 3 minutes to go. No, I think this is a flyer, but it's going to be very slow. I don't think this is going to be representative enough. No, he is really down on his time. So I think this was more of a cool-down lap. And then the Ferrari will go on another flyer. But what about Bavish? He's just getting out of the way of a few cars. So he's evidently had a mistake somewhere. Chenzo into the pit lane. And I don't really disagree with that decision. He doesn't really need to go any faster. But now Quincy is also on an outlap. He's in trouble on the bubble, as is Race Chase. So we'll see how this all plays out. But I think Rendog is now going on a new flying lap. As Moksha, I think, crashed it. There's a yellow flag going through. That was going through Stowe there. As Matt says hello, and there's a bot in the chat. We're seeing Rendog now just go through Brooklands and Luffield. And at the moment, Red Dog now is carrying this Ferrari team for the final couple of minutes. Toby might just get time to complete another lap, but I think Moksha crashed out going through Stowe Corner there. But again, don't quote me on that either. I did see a brief yellow flag and just tried to connect the dots. That could have been a slow-moving vehicle at the same time. Red Dog, though, not looking promising there. In actual fact, it didn't register as a positive or a negative there, so he might have been even on his time, which is not good enough if he wants to try and get into the top 10. Eugene is also just behind this Ferrari. I think we'll cut to the Alpine driver in just a few moments' time, but he's left it very late indeed. He's in a battle for 9th with Kovachka, which didn't make it out of qualifying one, of course, and no improvement from Red Dog at all. And Eugene there wasn't just behind the Ferrari, he's a couple of corners back. He's just coming through the final section now of this Silverstone circuit. Now he goes right, and he'll go right again for the last time, flat on the floor. And he's got himself out of the drop zone, but only 9th. Where is Quincy and all of this? He's just going through Aintree now, this tight left, well, I say tight, this fast left-hander. Of course, Factor Vault, no, I didn't crash it. I'm just hoping it's enough. Oh, okay. Thank you, Moksha, for coming in and filling the information. I did see a yellow flag at Stowe and just kind of assumed. But thank you, Moksha, for filling us in. That should honestly be enough, as Bavish has also decided to call it a day. Eugene probably not feeling safe either. And Race Chase, well, under a minute to go in qualifying. So Quincy on his final flying lap. Of course, he would need to cool down the ERS if he wanted to go again. But there's just not enough time in qualifying. We are now coming to the end. And who will make it through into that top 10? There is nobody ahead of Quincy on the track. And we are about to see if he can do it. He can make this save half a second up in Sector 2 on his personal best as Quincy. This gets him into the 126s and with his teammate as well. Can Quincy keep it all together? Going through Stowe. The final few corners for the Williams driver. It would be an absolute sensational qualifying if both Williams made it into qualifying 3. Quincy through Club now. He's done it! 4th place for Quincy there. Qualifying completes on that. And I would imagine if crowd noise was simulated on this game, the Silverstone would go crazy for that. Race Chase up a few hundredths in Sector 2, but he's not really taking the right line through Club. Can he get this into the top 10? He's knocked out Eugene. He's gone into 7th place. Herman, I think, is next across the line. He is, and he's 9/10 up. He'll be into the 127s at this rate, but it might not be enough. Depends on what he did in Sector 1. Herman taking the better line there through Club. And let's see if he can get this into the top 10. He can! He's knocked out Jolly Boy John! What about Toby? No, he's down in Sector 2. But did he do enough in Sector 1? No, he's messed it up through Club. And that is Ferrari at the bottom of the table in qualifying to 14th and 15th for the Tifosi. Oh, dearie me. And Herman the German comes into the chat happy with that. What a lap from the German driver in the American team. That is a sensational lap from, of course, your Season 1 champion back on F1 23 when SSRL first began. But now, that is it. Oh, snap. Love two times Dave Days. Thank you very much, Underling, and welcome to you. Welcome to the stream. It is so good to see you, everybody. And DRJ with a GG there. Bro, I think the lap time from Herman there towards the end, proving why he was champion in the first place. Quincy to the pits, but we now say goodbye, well, to one of the teams one of the drivers in the teams try to compete with the Red Bulls. So both teams have had casualties in qualifying 1 and 2. And of course, we'll take an overall look at your constructors picture. In fact, we're not going to really have time. But Andy tops qualifying 2 on this occasion. He is in first with Enchanzo second, Bavish third, Quincy fourth, Energetic fifth, Moksha sixth, Race Chase 7th, Herman in 8th, 9th is Snake, and to rounding out your top 10 is Danger David, nearly knocked out there. 700ths separated him from Jolly Boy John, Eugene, Tarkangino, Toby, Rendog, all say goodbye in qualifying 2. Well, now we have one last session, 12 minutes to decide places 1st through 10th. Who will get pole position? It is looking like it is a battle between Chenzo and the Romanian driver, Andy Andre, of course, as of tonight. Now, it's all been confirmed that he is, of course, your Season 5 even, or champion. And, of course, like I said before, 4 seasons in a row. That is a very impressive, that's a very impressive streak there from anybody. But qualifying 3 begins. We need to look at who's going to be first out. It is the V-Carb of Energetic 6 there. He will be the first one to set the gauntlet, and he will be looking to qualify as high as possible, preferably ahead of the McLarens, who, of course, both teams are separated by 7 points in the constructors. Of course, V-Carb trying to come off the last place spot, and Kovachka will be hoping that his race pace comes back to treat him well. He really could get V-Carb some points here, and he'll be hoping for a chaotic race up front to try and get a few positions in that regard too. But Kovachka was out in the first session of qualifying for the V-Carbs. And as well, there was a bit of an incident between Rendog and Sir Ibo, which forced Sir Ibo out in qualifying 1. Actually under retirement, and Jamaican Jam retired in the pits after having an error somewhere on his flying lap. So him and Ibo rounded out the bottom 2 drivers in 20th and 19th. And everybody else is going qualified around him. And Energetic there, very wide, going down the start-finish, the old start-finish straight, that is. And we'll see how this works out. Going through Maggots and Beckett's now. Everybody is out on an outlap apart from Pleasant Snake. So Pleasant Snake has decided to remain in the pits there. So we'll see how that goes. Matt, currently on a lunch break. I don't think I can compete, especially with my work truck. It would be very interesting to see a work truck go up against these Formula 1 cars. You'd be the slowest car on track. That's for sure. But anyway, let's go and see how Energetic begins qualifying 3 with just under 10 minutes to go. The first flying lap of qualifying 3 will now begin. So like we said before, right-hander through here, turn number 1, Abbey curve, then through Farm curve, and then it's here into the entrance of Village. Then next corner called the Loop, left-hander through there, goes right as you possibly can for the best exit. And of course early on the throttle, then it's flat through this left-hander of Aintree. First DRS zone is here. And then rear wing will open, as you can see there on the back of the car there. Then it's this left-hander of Brooklands. Brake down, it's a medium to high-speed corner. And then, of course, the slow speed, or what feels like, of Lovefield there. And now it is flat to the floor through the old straight, well, the old start-finish straight, right through the Rudcote. And here we go. Set yourself up for the right-hander of Cops. And there you go. That is nicely done by Energetic there. Sounded flat to me, that's for sure. So good job here from the VCOM. Now Maggots and Beckett's fast left, right, left, and then right again. But brake here. It's a medium to high-speed corner through there. DRS opens again down the hanger straight there. It's a 103, 128, and this is looking like it's going to be a good time. Pleasant Stake also is currently on an outlap, so he is now out of the pits and has allowed everybody to just get out the way. But here we go. Energetic towards the line now through Plob, left, right, and then early as you can on the throttle. Get the battery power out of the car, and then that's a 126.874. Now, comparing that with last night's time, that's, I think, looking to be a very good time. But here we go. Bavish might be up to beat that, but he's a 10th down on Energetic there in Sector 2, and he can only manage second place there for the time being. Everybody out on soft tyres, as you would expect. So let's see. Moksha next across the line with a Williams behind him. That'll be of Quincy. Both of them going third and fourth. And then I think Herman will be... Well, no, Herman won't be next, but Chenzo with a 126.5 there. So let's go to Herman, currently in 8th place after Andy Andre with a 126.3 there. Not bad at all. Herman there with a 128.159, slowest of the time so far. Can Dave David go faster than that? He certainly can. He jumps up into 4th place and even ahead of his rival for 3rd place. So there you go, 10 drivers now, and we are just waiting for Pleasant Stake to go on a lap. And he will, well, he'll be doing so in a few quarters' time. Coming through Club as we speak. And here we go. He will start his flying lap now. Of course, the only driver not to go out in that first pack. So everybody else will need to get out of the way of the Williams once he approaches the relevant cars. But here we are into Village now, and then the Loop straight after, followed by Aintree. Then it is down the Wellington Straight. I kid you not, that it's its name. Here we go, and we're on that now. First DRS zone that these drivers have to deal with. Then it's the left-hander of Brooklands, straight into the right-hander of Lovefield, of course. Looking very planted through there. Oh, but a bit of a squiggle there from the Williams driver. Just needs to be a little careful there. And now in the, well, currently only driver, of course, not setting the time in the top 10, but Herman is separated by just under 0.7 of a second there from 9th to 8th there. So Herman will be hoping for a better time, but of course everybody into the pits, apart from one. It's Energetic, still out there trying to set a time, I think. Or is that Danger? No, it's definitely Energetic now, because Danger David is in the pits. But Pleasant Stake there with a good time there, 103.276, I think that was, recorded at the sector beam. So this could still be a good lap as well. It will definitely go beyond Herman. But I'm dying to see what Energetic is up to once the Williams completes his lap. And here we go. We're not going to be too far away. Pleasant Stake with a 126.987 there. And Energetic is down by 400ths in Sector 2. He'd honestly do a bit smarter to go into the pits. Does exactly that. And that's honestly the call I would have made. But anyway, all drivers have now set a time. Herman, you're slowest. But Andy RJ, you're fastest by over 2.5 tenths. To the McLaren behind. And, well, speaking of the Williams, Quincy is now making his way out. Currently in 8th place with a 127.4. And we'll see how that goes for the Williams driver. But, of course, we are still going to see some other cars come out. We've got Chenzo now coming out. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, as of right now, we are looking at Quincy just beginning his outlap, going through that. And, of course, Chenzo behind has also started. Only 3 cars on track as of right now. Let's have a look at somebody else for a change. Let's have a look at the McLaren going through all of this. Let's just see. Ooh. Here we go there. So, yeah, no, Pleasant Sake, of course, while it's saying that he is on a flying lap, he is currently on a cooldown lap and will be coming into the pits. I don't know if he's going to have time to take any further part in this third qualifying session, but what I'm more interested to see, can Chenzo beat Andy Andre's pole time? But more importantly, can he also consider that Andy may improve on that? So just for last night's sake, 1:26.640 was Andy's time for pole position in Division 1. But currently he has beaten that by over 3/10 of a second there. So that just shows you how he improves going through these two evenings. Oh, well, you're currently seeing it at face value here. So Enzo will be, of course, the second driver to start the next flying laps. But, of course, it's Quincy up ahead who will be leading the pack away. In fact, he's just starting now. He's gone through into down the Hamilton straight across the start-finish line to get his final flying lap of qualifying started, unless if he stays out on these tyres for another lap. He is, I think, on a fresh set. Yes, he is, as is Enzo there as well. So 0 lap softs apart from one. Well, of course, Pleasant Sake, who of course has just come into the pit lane. I think actually Pleasant Sake might just come out again with just over 2 minutes to go. Try and set another time, but oh, Chenzo locking up there into Village, but getting it all back together for Loop, but will have lost about half a tenth there just based on the lockup alone. Opens the DRS for the first time there. There's a Mercedes behind on an outlap, of course. Actually, Mercedes and Williams, both teams are the only ones to get both drivers into qualifying 3 this evening. VCarb, of course, said goodbye to Kavachka in qualifying 1, as did Sauber. And I think it was Alpine. Don't quote me on that, though. Of course, there was a collision between Red Dog and Sir Ibo. Of course, Sir Ibo DNF'd. And then, Red Dog went through its qualifying 2, but only for the Ferraris to finish 14th and 15th in the session. So not been the best from the Tifosi. And, well, 2/10 down in Sector 2 is Chenzo here. So this is not looking good to be an improvement. Quincy up to 3rd place there. So Quincy with the Williams car has out-qualified his teammate for the time being, remember. And soon enough, well, we'll see if he can stay there. But of course, we've got drivers in because, oh, Chenzo there, too desperate into Club Gaza spin. And well, that's going to allow Andy to start his flying lap. But Race Chase is also on a flyer. Currently just further along down the old start-finish straight, going into Cops Corner now, flat through there. That did look like it's just under 2 minutes to go, and we are soon going to see the conclusion of qualifying. Herman trying to improve as well. He's just going through Abbey Curve, the first couple of corners, and now going down into Village. But here we go, 4/10 up. It's Race Chase on his personal best. This could get him into the 1:26s. This could be a good time from the Mercedes. He won't have time for another flyer, so he will have to accept this time as his last, but he's invalidated! Oh no! The Mercedes, looking great, has invalidated at the last port of call. Energetic is going to go for another flyer on, well, no, for his first flyer on these softs. I think he invalidated, yeah, he just must have had a bit of a mistake, but there you go, this will be his last one. So now Energetic on 1 lap old soft tyres, but they will be warmed up compared to everybody else around him. But we need to keep an eye on who is where. Is Dage David on a flyer? Well, he's just started one now, but he's a bit further down the track. Andy, though, improving as the times go on. And I don't think Chenzo has enough. I think he has just enough time to set another flyer. But where is his battery charge going to be? So a lot of pressure on Chenzo here to improve. Quincy has got into the pits. So that means he will not go no faster. 1:25.927. Quincy retires for obvious reasons, but now Herman is coming across the line now as the McLaren of Chenzo into the pits. As Herman can't improve, he's had a mistake. Well, has he? No, I think he's actually just cooled things down and is going again. So this will be his final flyer, taking advantage of the track evolution. Bavish is also on a time, improving by just over 1.5 tenths, and is approaching the final section of Silverstone now. Qualifying countdown complete, so all drivers on a flyer. This will be your last one, and Herman will be the last cross line. Bavish to 3rd. Good time from the Aston Martin, but what about everybody else? Energetic is up by just under 1/10 of a second. He's currently 5th and will go to 2nd place. What an important lap from the V-Carb there, as I think somebody else went across the line. That was Danger David. He's got an improved. Moksha was an initial improvement, but Danger David into 4th there, 2/10 of a second, and he's ahead of who he needs to be ahead of. Moksha unable to improve on that lap. Race Chase was also completed as his qualifying, as we know, but Pleasant Snake up to 4th place. He pips Danger David at the line, but what about Herman? Oh my word, he's up 7/10. Well, just under 8/10. So he could still pip Race Chase. We're all waiting on Herman. The spotlight falls to him with 2 minutes to go in the countdown to complete your lap. But, of course, qualifying is completed, so no further laps can come from here. What about the Haas driver who won Season 1 in the Haas? 9th place. He gets a 1:26.9. He out-qualifies the Mercedes of Race Chase. And that is an epic ending to qualifying. Herman taking advantage of track evolution. When the track surface was at its cleanest, he went the fastest. And he sends off the Haas team on F124 in some style, getting it in the top 10 and out-qualifying a Mercedes. What do you say about that? But there you go, your top 10 as confirmed. No surprise there. Andy Andre by 6/10 of a second in pole position to Energetic there in the V-Carb. And Chenzo wasn't able to get a good enough flyer, and it's now got a car between him and Andy. Pleasant Snake 4th, Danger David 5th. That's, well, there'll be more important matters with that. But Bavish 6th, Quincy 7th. Moksha won't be happy with his qualifying. He's 3 places behind where he wants to be. He wants to be with David. Herman just came across the line. Well, came across the line at the right time and improved up into 9th with Race Chase having to settle for last, but not least, its 10th position. Well, we will now just take a few minutes to get things ready. We will be with you again in just a few minutes' time, because we will now need to go into the race, and it is overcast here in Silverstone, so we're going to see how that plays a role in driver strategy. Will we have rain during the race? Well, stick with us to find out, because I think we're going to have a very exciting few laps come your way in a few minutes' time. Welcome back to SSRL's final race on F1 24. It is Season 5, the finale in Silverstone, and we are ready to get underway. We've got 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's go in Silverstone, and I call that in the nick of time, and it looks like everybody gets away well, and at the moment, Cerebro, of course, in the McLaren gets away, not the best, but there you go, Chenzo already up into second after Andy, with an excellent start there, has gone down the inside of the VCOM, and there's Danger David fighting with the sister team, and I think he's got that move done, which is important for him and his championship. Oh, a bit of contact between the two. Let's see who's on what tyres. Everyone to the softs to begin with, apart from Energetic and Kavachka. And now Energetic is, well, Energetic is down 2 positions. No, yeah, 4 positions already, sorry. Started in second place and has had to allow Snake and Babbage to overtake, so not the best start on the VCOP. Oh, the Williams of Quincy sliding through Woodcote there. No rain as of right now, but it looks like it could be on the way. And now Quincy is fighting with an Alpine, and there's Tom the German saying, "Can I have a look, boys, please?" And he goes, well, Quincy has to give him the room for now, but cuts him off. Back and Sanibbo has had a moment into Cops there, and well, it's been left him a bit stranded there, but he will be won't be happy with that. And now look at this, you have got 19 cars in your frame there. That moment looking good here. Oh, Kavachka has made a place on Sergeant Dempsey there, up to 15th. He needs to get that VCOP as high as he can into the top 10 if possible. Pull off a miracle drive and just try and carry it through to the end. And DRJ, of course, with the fastest lap of the race because he's the first one across the line, of course. And DRS is also activated at this moment, but of course won't be used until the second DRS zone, which is just after Chapel Curve. That is just, of course, for safety reasons while the tyres are warming up. And now through entry we go, and Andy is looking to get away. Oh, wait, no, the DRS is now activated. Never mind, I will shut up. And, Andy has not been able to pull away with the 1 lap that he was given to do so. So that means the top, I would say, 15 are all pretty much concertinaed together. And it will surely only be a matter of time before we start seeing moves from everybody else. In fact, make that the top 14. Kavachka with a mistake through. Brooklands has now left him outside of the DRS bubble to Toby. Rendog down positions as well. Who are your biggest winners and losers in that opening lap? As Energetic, your biggest loser there. Down 4 positions from 2nd to 6th position. Of course, he is on the harder compound of tyres, so that race might gradually come to him later on. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, we've got a move here. That is Moksha on Energetic 6. Moksha to the inside, going into Stowe. And Moksha gets that done. He's got to try and catch up to Danger David so that he can put him under some pressure. Now, remember, we have a mandatory 2-stop rule. So despite this being a 50% race, you are required to serve 2 stops there. As Danger David with the fastest up there. And, well, look at this. He's got 0.3 of a second to Chenzo, and Chenzo has, he's not kept up with Andy. So this is now an important overtake for the Red Bull driver if he wants to take away the win of the race. We'll see how he can do this as he goes through the loop now into Aintree. The McLaren with no DRS at all, and the Red Bull with everything to give. And it's not enough going into Brooklands there, as now Quincy and Energetic are having a battle side by side with one another into Lovefield from Brooklands. Energetic gets that move done and will now surely begin to try and move up the field as, well, Kavachka there has dropped off as well. 2.3 seconds. We're not going to see one of his miracle drives, unfortunately. It's just not looking likely. So the VCOM team needs Energetic to pull off an absolute miracle here. And, well, Andy Andre is pulling away from the field, so this is 1.7 seconds to the lead of the race. So somebody's going to have to come up with a genius pit stop. And, well, it's only Energetic with a alternate strategy. Whoa! Sliding from left to right is the Red Bull with deliberation, of course, as Babish and drifts through Stowe and gives no room to Pleasant Sake even, as now Pleasant Sake forced into the pits. That's going to be the first pit stop, and Pleasant Sake will try and utilise the undercut there, but losing his front right end plate there. Babish, well, has forces Pleasant Sake into a mistake. Well, not of his own doing, of course, not his fault, but let's see the pit stop here, because what tyres is he going to go on to? We have a caution in Sector 3 for a spun round Kick Sauber Kick Sauber fighting with Alpine for second place. And Jamaican Jam cannot get that Kick Sauber underway. He's too heavy in his right foot. Sorribo overtakes him. And Pleasant Lake, well, oh my goodness me. Jamaican Jam has and he retires on track. That's not going to be a good look for the Kick Sauber driver. Oh dear, that's not good at all. But anyway, back to current affairs on track. Oh, look at this. It's like a NASCAR-style race here. For fourth place, Energetic has found his way through, but 2.3 seconds to the guys ahead. This is going to be very tricky indeed. And Danger David, while getting past Chenzo, has not found a way to get that gap down. It's now at 2.1 seconds. And here we go, next DRS zone, and look at David hugging that inside line, but it doesn't make a difference. Chenzo gets that move done. And now we're seeing Moksha and Energetic go at each other, as Bavish as well finally gets a move done. And there's Quincy. Oh my goodness me, Energetic off the circuit, but there's Quincy. Oh, we're going 3 wide. Oh, there's contact between the V-Cob and the Williams going into club. And well, Jolly Boy John has now found himself involved in this. This is excellent stuff to finish off F1 24 on the SSRL. Jamaican Jam might get a little bit of a reprimand for retiring on track. You're not allowed to do that, so if he does come back for the next season, which will be on F1 25, I can tell you for free, he will probably be handed a penalty. He might not remember why. But anyway, so with Pleasant State completing his stop now, he is 19th place, as now Herman is actually being overtaken by Race Chase in the background, but Herman holds it round the outside for as long as he can, but just didn't have enough room there, so had to let it go. And well, he'll continue on. Herman will continue on in 10th, while Race Chase is still 9th and trying to chase the Aston Martin in front. But at the moment now, gaps are beginning to form here. Andy has ran away with this. 3.6 seconds to the guys here. Oh, it's David there having a little bit of a slide on into Chapel Curve there. DRS is now open for the Red Bull. We'll keep an eye on the battles in the background. Bavish and Quincy are going side by side with one another. But David around the outside into snow contact between Chenzo, and Chenzo spins! Oh no! Chenzo! Is he in the wall? No, he's found the escape road, but needs to be careful on his rejoin. Everybody sees him coming, and Chenzo is now down to 9th place after contact with the Scotsman of Danger David. And now that is 4.5 seconds to Andy Andre, and Andy will welcome that. But if there's a safety car, well, all of a sudden it all gets thrown out the window. But of course, let's not go into possibilities right now. There is a lot of action out on track. The Aston Martins line up one together. Bruiser is scoring no points at the moment, so that means Aston Martin could be overtaking. If we check the point situation now, 6th and 7th get you 19 points. Danger David gets 20 points. So actually, the Red Bulls outscore Aston Martin by 1 point. But is that enough? I will need to do some checking. But at the moment, the top, well, first and second are separated from this group, and Moksha's now trying to get away so the top 3 can be separated. Sorribo's had a moment in sector 1, just probably a little spin through the village corner, and he's back underway, so no need to stop the racing as of right now, because it's all focusing on 3rd place, and Danger David has really gotten away from his rival for 3rd place. Of course, these two were separated by 4 points, with David leading the way. And look at this, Quincy trying to look around the outside, over inside even of Moksha, but Energetic is there as well. And here we go, side by side, then going into club. Lots of action happening out on track as Chenzo and Herman are having a battle. That's all sorted out, so let's have a look at what's going on in the background. Has Toby had a mistake? No, there's an Aston Martin in the pit lane. Who is that? That's a Bavish. So Bavish going for the undercut on these drivers. Evidently didn't want to battle too hard and is going to relinquish his position in the race for the time being. Eugene now occupying 10th place. Both Alpines, well, they've got absolutely no pressure from the Kick Sauber at all. One has already DNF'd. The other is only scoring 2 points. So, unfortunately for him, Sergeant Dempsey really not doing what Kick Sauber need him to do. And here we go there. There was a bit of a side-by-side moment with Chenzo and Herman there going into Brooklands, but he was not able to carry that through. So Herman holding on to 8th place for the time being, but he's lost DRS to the group in front. And these, what is it, 4 or 5 drivers are giving us something to talk about, that's for sure. Moksha's just kind of leading the way, just trying to make sure he holds on to 3rd place. And at the moment, let's see who's done their pit stops as of right now. It's only Bavish and Pleasant Snake. And Bavish, well, the undercut from Pleasant Snake, not enough. Only 1.6 seconds separating him from the Aston Martin driver in front. So that undercut not effective at all. As now Quincy up into 3rd place on Moksha. Bit of contact between the Williams and the Alpine, but no damage I can visibly see as of right now. As there's the next Aston Martin of Jolly Boy John into the pits. The Alpine and V-Cub go side by side, bit of contact between them, and the V-Cub is sent off balance, and a bit of a squirrely rear end there, as now Race Chase might try to have a look into Abbey Corner, but unable to get close enough to try that, so that means he will have to wait yet another day, as our pit stops are now being done. Like we've said already, Chenzo and Jolly Boy John into the pits, and Chenzo now down 11 positions, has become your biggest loser at this first portion of the race. 8 laps already knocked out, and we have a lot of action coming your way. Race Chase goes side by side with Energetic, gets the move done. Eugene and Herman go side by side into Brooklands. Who's got the better momentum? Herman using the outside effectively this time. Yellow flag for a Ferrari, which I think is on the pit exit, as Sir Ibo gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And we've got a spun-out Red Bull. I think that's a Bruiser. And Eugene and Herman still side by side with one another, going into cops. No contact between them. Impressively so. My word, that could have ended rather badly. We did see it end rather badly in real life a few years ago. And now, through Megan to Beckett, we're going to see this battle restart. But at the moment, Quincy there is now under pressure from Moksha yet again. What about Race Chase? What can the Mercedes do? Absolutely nothing. So we'll cut back to Herman German. 3 wide between the Haas and an Alpine, with another Haas on the outside. Tarkangino mugs both of them. Oh my word, what a move from Tarkangino, as how the both Haas go side by side. Is it raining? It's raining in Silverstone. The rain has come, and I imagine we will see intermediate tyres in a few moments' time. I saw rain, chat. I definitely saw it as well. Both Haas go side by side through Abbey Curve. Wow! Herman with one of the overtakes of the season. He's only done 2 races. Don't take the spotlight away from our consistent drivers. I'm not complaining, but my word, what a move from Herman the German there. Will come back under pressure with his promised teammate. And we'll see how this all works out. Toby and Eugene now into the pits. And they've just made their way out now. But what tyres? Well, it is raining, so they're going to have to stop again. And this means that a lot of people are going to be forced into their first stops, especially Andy and David. In fact, the entire top 10 is now forced into another stop. And I imagine for the 1 stoppers already, this is great news, as now Pleasant Snake and Jolly Boy John going side by side here from Brooklands to Lovefield. Of course, the Aston Martins are just trying to finish ahead of the Red Bull, but Danger David might be cancelling out both their advantages, and if Bruiser can just get a point, that will just be enough to swing it the other way. As well, more side-by-side action for 3rd place action happening wherever you look on the track. And this is certainly very exciting. So we're already on lap 10. We are 3 laps away from the halfway mark. And I do think we are seeing rain. Let's go on board. Yes, we do have rain. And that is foul very British, as Danger David now into the pits. What tyre is he going on to? Let's take a look at the Red Bull driver. That looked to be intermediates, I think. It most certainly is. So intermediates for the Red Bull drivers. Kavachka with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. The 2nd driver to do so this evening, with Ibo being the first one. DRS still active, so it's considered a dry track up until DRS is disabled by the in-game race control. Sergeant Dempsey next into the pit lane. We'll keep an eye on what tyres he goes on to. Of course, Danger David, the first driver onto the intermediates. We'll see how that gamble works out. Quincy is at the moment 9.8 seconds away from the leader, and Andy could pit rather safely here and wouldn't need to worry. But if those intermediates came into life at just the right point and Andy needs to do an extra lap, well, he's in all sorts of trouble. Bruiser is the next car into the pit lane as well. Teammates Danger David, but at the moment, no points for him. And we still don't have our safety car which I would have expected, as now we're on the second DRS straight. Race Chase in fourth there. Of course, this is before pit stops are all worked out, as Moksha to the outside of Quincy, down into Stowe. Can they keep it together, as Ibo has had a moment, I think. Oh no, is that Enzo? No, it is not. It is not. No, that would have been Soribo. So Soribo is already being approached to be lapped as we go through club with this pack of cars. And it's still raining here, so when will intermediates be the right tire? It looks like David has gone faster than Kavachka, but Kavachka has been forced into the pits. He's currently 8th place, but he's top 10 under one condition. As now, well, oh, look at the big car of as Energetic there, having a look into Village, as Toby is now the third driver for a 3-second penalty, and Ibo with a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But Kavachka with a 3-second penalty now for track limit violations. And now, Kavachka is down to 15th. That's all McLaren right there. That's only of Soribo, the lapped vehicle. Get out of the way. That'll bring out a yellow flag in sector 2. So no problems there. But Soribo 19th, and he is, well, struggling to keep up with Bruiser up ahead. 16 seconds for Bruiser, 39 seconds behind Rendog there. Of course, Rendog had a visual qualify there, as I thought we saw a V-carb go sideways there for a couple of moments there. Now remember, I think it's the top, yeah, there's Quincy now up into second place there. Of course, Moksha losing DRS, no surprises there. But Energetic hang on to these mediums for as long as he can, as we're one lap away from halfway. Moksha next into the pit lane now. We'll cut back to the action on track, though. Lots of exciting stuff happening, as Enzo has also got past Pleasant Sake there, or Chenzo, I should get used to saying in reality. But there you go, that's all sorted out. Look at this pack all together. Jolly Boy John in all of this. And, well, Danger David hasn't actually caught back up as of right now, but of course, pit stops to be considered in all of that. But also, David is being caught by the runners behind. But of course, we are not under wet track conditions, so Danger David might be just under a bit of pressure here, wishing for things to just hurry up a little bit. But there you go, Herman, the next driver onto the intermediates, the third driver so far, as Quincy and Energetic swap positions here into Brooklands. No surprises there, because DRS is being shared. But look at this, all Pleasant Sake and Moksha side by side into Village, and Moksha has just come out of the pit lane, remember. So let's see how these intermediate tyres work. At the moment, not very well, but let's see. DRS opens for the Alpine driver. Let's go on board with him. Look at the slipstream, look at the ERS he'll be using into Brooklands. Side by side go the Williams and the Alpine. Then it's going to be the outside for the Alpine, inside for the Williams. And the Alpine will try and cut back, but no success there. There's a battle happening up ahead as well. Jolly Boy John loses a position to Eugene. So Eugene trying to take advantage of these slippery conditions to use the soft tyre, heat them up as best he can, but they will be cooling as the Grand Prix goes on. Quincy and Energetic swap for second as well. Lots of on-track action happening at the same time. But halfway point, Quincy is into the pits. What will he be on? We need to keep an eye on everywhere else, because look at this. We've got some pressure coming on the Aston Martin drivers, but everybody holds in position quite surprisingly for now. And well, look at Toby. He's also caught up to all of this. So while we do have rain on the circuit, it's not been declared wet by race control. DRS is still active at this current moment in time. 4 drivers, well, 6 drivers on the intermediates now. Let's go on to lap 13, and position swapping is happening all over the place. And here we go, some cars exiting pit road now. There's both Williams drivers going side by side into Village. Oh no, my contact! Oh no, that was actually the Alpine of... No, that was the Alpine of Moksha. I thought it was both Williams drivers, but my mistake there. But contact between the Alpine and the Williams of Quincy into Village, and that is all said and done. As now Bavish and Eugene are going side by side, one another. Lovefield into Brooklands into Lovefield, even all the way around. And at the moment now, on the exit, they are still side by side, but who has a straight line speed in these slippery conditions? Remember, while it's not a wet race, it's most certainly not a dry race either. These conditions will not be comfortable. Tyres will be cooling down, and you'll be losing grip, and you'll need to brake earlier and slow your car down. a bit earlier than you are used to as well. So all of these drivers having to get used to these changing conditions. Energetic is the next car into the pit lane. Remember, mandatory 2-stop rule. And apart from the top 2, everybody has made their first stop. Chenzo round the outside of the Alpine of Eugene, up into 5th place goes Chenzo, and he's still got another stop to make as well. And look at this, more action happening as we go down into Village. There's been a minor overtake in the background as well. Gino into 15th. But we had to miss that because we're looking at action here, which you cannot peel your eyes off. Energetic is undercut by this entire pack, so down to 8th he goes. But of course he'll be on. Is he on intermediates? No, he's on soft tyres. Is this rain not expected to last? We just don't know. Eugene going very deep into the loop. Gets the move done on the Aston Martin regardless, but now we'll lose DRS. There's a McLaren there going very... No, that's Enzo again. Chenzo with another mistake in this Grand Prix as Babish and Danger David go side by side into Brooklands. Down through to Lovefield. That is Babish's place. What about Jolly Boy John and Pleasant Snake? They go side by side. And that is Jolly Boy John into 5th place for the time being. But now it's getting chaotic here in the British Grand Prix. The track is slippery. Chenzo's made several mistakes. And there's another pack in the background that is battling with one another and trying to catch up to all of this. Andy RJ's into the pits for 33 seconds from 2nd place Babish. He's gonna be thinking this is a Sunday drive into the pits. He'll be welcoming this as well. Energetic made a move there for 11th place on Race Chase after he made a mistake through Maggots and Beckett's, and everybody's trying to keep their tyres warm. As now Toby on Moksha into Stowe. Do they make contact? No, they give each other just enough room. And that is all said and done. There's been a change with Jolly Boy John and Danger David as well. So those intermediates not quite into working temperature. It would seem as Toby and Energetic are now going at one another. In fact, that's Quincy. My apologies. I seem to be doing a great job of getting drivers' names mixed up. But they go down the start-finish straight. Quincy gets up into 9th place. And Toby loses another 2 positions. And Energetic is now looking down the inside into Village. And he gets that done. What a move from the V-Carb there. We already have 12 laps to go at the line. It's all a bit of a white moment, and I think Toby may have made a bit of contact with the Mercedes, but no damage to either car, so he might not have made contact, but either way, they all get away with it. But now can Race Chase look down the inside as there's the slow-moving McLaren getting out of the way rather generously as Targagino overtakes his teammate Herman for 14th. But anyway, a lot of action up and down the track, packs up all together. This is exciting stuff to end F124 as Energetic now gets past Moksha there on the old start-finish straight. I need just a bit of a moment's break here. And now, here we go. Back with you now. Danger David still trying to hang on to the back of Jolly Boy John, but Jolly Boy John's just trying to hang on to the back of Eugene, but David is forced to the inside line because Platinum Snake is round the outside. Look at the McLaren's momentum. Chenzo, despite his mistakes, still with this pack, and David comes into the pits from intermediates, doesn't get it stopped in time, just about. That was close call from the Red Bull team, but luckily David just does it off. And I wonder if rain is not going to last with 11 laps to go. Babish with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. This brings Eugene into the battle for second, and Alpine with a crucial amount of points now. And as Danger David thrown away 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship, well, we've got 11 laps to find out, and conditions which are ever changing but are not changing fast enough to go onto intermediates for everybody. Just to give you an idea where things stand, there's this Race Chase and Toby going side by side. Race Chase looking slow. We've got a caution in sector 1 for a slow-moving McLaren of Sir Ibo getting out of the way of traffic that might be lapping themselves now. We haven't given any attention to... Oh, side by side through Cops though. Babish up into 2nd, but 3-second penalty makes that a bit doubtful as there's been a Ferrari spun. That's a Red Dog, but he continues on, so we'll cut back to this for the time being. But at the line, it'll be 10 laps to go. And Andy is, well, just approaching the back of Bruiser in 18th there on my track map. But now you don't want a 3-second penalty in this scenario. Because then if you do, you're looking at, well, dropping outside of the top 5 and you're going down to 7th, and Energetic all of a sudden gets free real estate. That is, I think, Bavish into the pit lane. It most certainly is. So there'll be a bit of swapping with the positions as the Aston Martin goes through the final turn onto the next lap. But there we go. We have 10 laps to go. 16 laps have flown by in Silverstone, and we still have 10 more to go. And action, which I don't know which way it's going to go. And it looks like to me the rain hasn't fully stopped. So I'm wondering why we haven't gone on to intermediate tyres. I wonder if this is a bug in the game that we are seeing unfold as of right now. Because the track hasn't really gotten any wetter. It's still very much dry. It's just very slippery, I would imagine. All things considered, Danger David, by the way, has come out ahead of Bavish. But of course, Moksha even is going to be the main target for the Red Bull driver. Red Bull driver down the inside of Devsy there. Up into 13th place he goes, but he's got to be careful of Bavish. Got a 3-second penalty, and Bavish, well, he doesn't let things go easily. So David will just have to be careful. And maybe they can work together to catch back up to the pack. And I'm sure we'll see something happen. Oh, Danger Dave! Oh, there's a McLaren spun around. Who is that? That is Sir Ibo. So no harm, no foul there. As now Danger David and Bavish are going side by side with one another for unlucky 13th place. Bavish there getting the move done into corps, of course, after David's mistake there. But Ibo making yet another mistake and got a 3-second track limits penalty as well for good measure. Not been a good day for him. Kovachka and Toby swap positions for 9th place for genuine position as well. And with Herman being 4 seconds back, these are the places they will finish as of right now. Pleasant Stake into the pit lane. Realizing those soft tyres will not work, I do think we have now experienced a glitch within the game, because nobody has gone faster on those intermediates, but the game just didn't bother to switch conditions. I just wonder why that is. And everybody who is now pitting, well, is suffering in return. Moksha did go on to intermediates, yeah, because he's now behind Danger David. So now Danger David has confirmed 3rd place as of right now. He's safe with Moksha pitting, but Moksha hasn't got the memo that it's not wet despite the rain. This is a glitch within the game. But, well, it's all going from bad to worse. But Moksha, well, it's gone from good to bad, but could it get worse for the Alpine? We'll have to see. As it's like with DRS now down the Wellington straight there. I'm sure many people on the grass have got their Wellingtons out, and with 9 laps to go, it feels like things have just finally started to calm down, and we can just see where things are as of right now. But we're about to see a battle for 2nd place unfold in front of our eyes. 18 laps out of 26 to go. It will be 19 at the line, so 8 to go at the line. Enzo down the inside for 2nd place. He's done a good job just to hold it there, all things considered. And well, oh, we're seeing stops. Of course, they need to make their 2nd stop, so we'll see how this unfolds. But this means the undercut from David and Bavish is back on. So, of course, mandatory 2 stops need to be made, and David did that. Moksha's done that. Tarkagino's done that. Red Dog's done that, as has Bruiser. And yeah, it's dry tyres again as Toby with a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as he's just right behind us there. So the Alpine hops in behind Chenzo there. So, do they get in front of this pack? No. Danger David is now just coming through. Abbey corner now, very wide through there, but it doesn't matter because he is back to 5th place. And well, Andy will just be thinking, well, nothing's really happened behind me. I can sort of just take my time, and well, he can decide his own pit stops. He's got that freedom, and now Mercedes are 1-2. Don't forget, Mercedes are also constructors champions, and it was Alpine and Kick Sauber fighting for 2nd place. But of course, with the Kick Sauber of Fellowson not showing up and Devsy not getting a good result with Jamaican Jam DNFing, it's not been the best time for what will become Audi in next year's Formula 1 season. So here we go. Herman on Tarkagino, but Herman unable to get the move done, and you can see those intermediates not really working out. 7 laps to go, and well, we still need to see the top 4 make their final pit stops. And of course, for Kovachka, he's going to suffer the hardest as the packers remain very close together. No safety cars, no VSCs either. And it feels like not too long ago we were talking about reaching the halfway point, as now second, third and fourth do make their way into the pits, as Encenzo there, race chase with a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Can't serve that when you're just coming into the pits, I'm afraid. So he'll have to serve that in what would hopefully be a safety car, although I don't think we're seeing one. Drivers are keeping it relatively clean here. And it has been very exciting action to send off F124 in absolute style. Quincy will begin to lose positions, as will the others that have boxed with him. Quincy now outside of that top 10 as Cenzo into 4th place. Of course, 1.8 seconds separate him from the Aston Martin. As long as he can keep it there, Babish will serve his 3-second penalty and will lose that podium position. Let's see what he can do. But of course, Babish could appeal the penalty if he wants to. If you walk, you can't exit the pit speed. Great great insight there coming from our Canadian chatter underling there. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom. But at the moment, Andy still needed to fulfill his final stop, all things considered. Babish currently alone in third with Cenzo 1.5 seconds away. We have a caution in sector 2. I'm trying to find out who that was. That was Bruiser there. Not any visible damage, just being lapped by both Haas vehicles. As Eugene now with a 3-second penalty for challenge violation. So no, not for Eugene. Eugene is now going to drop down from 7th to somewhere else. And now look at this. Eugene is going to overtake Energetic, but you know, you have to ask what's the point, as Bruiser with a 3-second penalty as well, so his total goes up to 6 seconds. But now Joy Boy John trying to get involved in all of this down the inside into Club has got that move done and is looking at the back of Energetic 6 there as he exits out the corner onto the new start finish straight down the inside of Abbey. Can he get that move done? He most certainly does, and of course that is a flat corner in these cars, so you don't really need to lift. And then just now Eugene coming back at Energetic, so Energetic down to 8th. Of course, that is the penalty withholding from that. At the moment, these two are going to do battle, but of course, both of them will have the DRS. Can we try and get the battle in the same frame? Both battles in the same frame? Yes, we certainly can, because Energetic down the inside of Eugene into Brooklands, and the Aston Martin down the inside of Williams into Brooklands as well, and he gets that move done and secures it through Luffield. And Andy Andre is now in the pits, and he will serve his final ever stop on F124, as most drivers have this race. Everybody can't wait to move on to F125 when that comes out. So now into Maggots and Beckett's comes this battle for what is essentially 3rd place, if they can catch up to Enzo and get it within that 3-second window of Babish in front there. But Babish is also trying to hang on to 3rd by using the DRS from the Red Bull. And are they going to try and work together? Well, I don't know how much point that's going to be. As now, well, there's more overtakes happening in the background there. Quincy up to 10th. Caution in sector 1 for a Ferrari. That's of Rendog there, who is facing the wrong way. A 3-second penalty for Dempsey. It's all happening at once here in Silverstone. As Andy is actually losing a bit of time. Of course, he's just come out the pit lane, so no surprises there. But the Ferrari of Rendog continues on, but he is about to be lapped by the Mercedes driver. And it's a Mercedes driver struggling to get temperature into those tyres. As well, Cenzo has caught up to these two battling. And well, the pack is... Oh! Jolly Boy John goes spinning off on the exit of Aintree. And Moksha is up into 8th place and is trying to find a... Well, he can't... Oh, could he find a way to catch up to David before the end of the race? 5 laps to go, remember. As now there's a battle up ahead between Pleasant Stake and Energetic. But there you go, Jolly Boy John losing the ground towards this bit. And I think David has got... has got the pip over the Aston Martins. But of course now, you got to remember... Wow, there's nearly contact between Pleasant Stake and the V-Carb there. But of course, Babish with a 3-second penalty. We'll have to see how this ends up once the race is completed. But now, of course, here we are, DRS. We're going to try and get battles in the same frame. My word, nearly contact between the McLaren and the Aston Martin. And now we're going to cut back to this battle as Energetic gets that moved on for 4th. But now 3rd place, Chenzo and Bavish going side by side with one another. The rain is seriously starting to pour down. How is the track not wet at this point? I don't know. Interesting stuff from the F1 24 game, but we now start lap 23 out of 26, 4 laps to go. And, well, nothing's going to be decided till the final lap in these conditions. At the moment, we are looking at potentially, well, we are looking at, hopefully, for the Red Bulls, looking at some good points for them. But, of course, with Bavish in 4th, but he's going to have a 3-second penalty towards the end of this race, as now Eugene goes side by side with the Williams driver, but unable to get that moved on, so he slots back in behind, and we'll just have to reset from there. But here we go, the battle continues into Brooklands, and it sorts itself out just in time for this long right-hander through here, and that's all said and done. But Eugene with better traction on the exit of the corner, and now has Eugene had to slot back in? No, they're still side by side with one another, going into Cops. Do they make contact with one another? Absolutely not. No, that's all said and done from the Alpine. But remember, lots of good action happening up and down the field as well. We have a genuine battle now for 2nd position. Bavish is out of the picture as of right now. Chenzo not close enough to try to have a go on Danger David into Stowe, but Andy is now beginning his final laps as leader, and of course as 4 times in a row champion here in SSRL. Caution in Sector 3 for Sir Ibo's parked McLaren. Of course, that's just for the sake of allowing the drivers through, as a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits goes Sir Ibo's way. That's unfortunate for him. He's just trying to get out of the way of cars. Another 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits, but I don't think Sir Ibo really cares, to be honest with you, as now Enzo and David go side by side into Aintree here. Enzo to the outside, David to the inside, and Chenzo has DRS. David does not. Here we go. Who's going to win out? Somehow, David wins that battle and keeps the Red Bull ahead of the McLaren. This is excellent stuff to go take us through these final few laps. Boxer has dropped back from the DRS, but there we go. Chenzo with a 2nd burst of life gets past the Red Bull driver, and it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because he has that 3rd place secured now. As long as things stay as they are right now, no safety car will be called. Andy will begin the penultimate lap of F1 24 for this league. They did a race last night, which he won, and he took fastest lap there. And, well, tonight, he will take yet another win, and he will be, he will be your winner yet again in Division 2 this season, and of course in SSRL history. But as we now begin the penultimate lap for the battle for 2nd place, we have got Danger David and Enzo. Bavish just tagging along, just trying to stay ahead of Energetic to secure 4th place and try and get a bit of an advantage on the Red Bull, while his teammate Jolly Boy John is still trying to just benefit from Eugene's 3-second penalty, which will see him promoted into 7th. So it would be 9 points. So that would be, well, as it stands, well, we'll give you the results. So, Danger David would be desperate there on the exit. Ferrari there of Red Dog just trying to let everybody through. Looks like he's just getting out of the way for lap traffic rules. And here we go. Into Brooklands. It's still Danger David behind Chenzo. And it will be going, well, I think he'll want that going into the final lap. But Bavish might still cause a bit of trouble as a Red Bull has spun there. That's actually David's teammate, Bruiser, there. So Bruiser now facing the wrong direction is allowing everyone through before getting it spun round into the right direction. But now the battle for 2nd place is going to continue developing on. Jolly Boy John is now outside that 3-second window to Eugene, and that might mean everything in the constructors, as now Quincy and Moksha are going side by side into Baggets and Baggets. How on earth did they not make contact there? We'll have to cut back as Chubman gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. Doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. David has remained behind for now. Quincy, though, has got into 9th place. Doesn't have enough time to catch up to Jolly Boy John in front there, I'm afraid. Last lap of F1 24 begins for all 19 drivers Season 5, well dominated by Andy, has given us titanic battles up and down the field. You are witnessing one of them now, as now Bavish to the outside. If he wasn't having a 3-second penalty on the end of his race, he would be making this battle extremely exciting, but still, Chenzo and David making mistakes. Bavish keeping it in, pointing in one direction. Contact between the Red Bull and the Aston Martin. He will not be happy. He is trying to fight for second place here with Chenzo, and Bavish has just knocked him off the track there, not giving him enough room. Might have had something to do with the weather, but now Chenzo under pressure, and because David will at least be boosted with the slipstream from the Aston Martin as well. Herman makes a move for 13th on Toby. And now Bavish to the inside of Chenzo, forcing the McLaren off as well. Well, as Bavish up into second, it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. Because of that post-race penalty, Suribo has caused a yellow flag in Sector 1. But Andy is coming through us the final couple of corners now. He wins for the last time on F1 24, and he's champion of Season 5. But now the battle for second holds up between David and Chenzo. Oh, there's contact between the Aston and the McLaren. And now, going through, it's Club who's got the upper hand. Has David got the late brakes? No, Chenzo covers him off. But who's got the exit momentum? Is it David or is it Chenzo? Let's find out. It's Chenzo who gets second. David will get third there. And Energetic will get fourth after Bavish fighting with them. Loses out on a fourth position. Well, Pleasant State takes 6th. Eugene 7th. And I just need to take a very quick screenshot for research purposes. As Kavachka takes away 11th from Race Chase. Sergeant Devsey coming towards the line now. Yes, so he'll be one of the last. Targangino there. 2.3 seconds behind his teammate. So Herman there finishing ahead of his teammate. We are actually waiting on Suribo to finish on this. Suribo is going to allow the Kicksauber through because Suribo actually hasn't finished the race there. So Sergeant Devsey will take away 16th place here. And then I'll take a screenshot in a few moments' time. Blah, 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 blah. And there you go. We've got a screenshot there of the results. And huzzah, says on the link. So let's go through a couple of things before we end the broadcast. We will have to, of course, go through podium interviews first. Then we'll calculate some points. So don't worry about anything. We will be with you in just a few moments. But we will, of course, go through the final race results. We're just waiting for things to load now. We should be... There you go. There's the podium celebrations. Of course, Andy on top, like he has been all season. Second place, Chenzo. Third place, Stage David. Bavish causing a bit of controversy there at the end between the two. The final podium celebration on SSRL. Season 5 concludes the life cycle of F1 24, of course, with F1 25 coming out later this month. SSRL will be moving over to that. So, there you go. It is all said and done. There you go. We're going to go straight into the lobby. So that means we're not going to really see anything further from the game. And that is just the style of things. So, of course, if we taking things as they are right now, we're going to have to try and come up to some sort of conclusion here. And try and make sense of the craziness that has unfolded tonight. So, I will try and bring up a screenshot of the results just so we can have a quick look at them. Just give me a few moments here, but then we can sort of start going through everything once we have everything we need. So, okay, into studio mode, and then of course I will drag in the screenshot of the results that we have got. So let's just have a look. There you go. Let's transition into that. So there you go. So before Suribo cross line, as you can see there, Andy, of course, your confirmed winner. Enzo, second place. Third place, Danger David. 4th place, Energetic. Bavish 5th, Pleasant Stake 6th, Eugene 7th, Jolly Boy John in 8th, Quincy 9th, rounding out your top 10 is Moksha. Then from 11th to 15th, Kavachka, Race Chase, Herman, Tarkangino, and Toby. Then, of course, your outside points finishers is Sergeant Devsy, Red Dog, Bruiser, and Cerebro. And the one driver that didn't finish, Jamaican Jam. So, of course, what does this mean for your driver standings? Well, I will go through those in just a second as well. I'm just currently trying to bring up the table so that we can have a live look at this and we can get an idea where things stand. So, while I'm doing that, of course, I'm just going to wait and see if we have anybody in the commentary box. Waiting for an interview. We most certainly do. So, we have got to start with our winner and, well, the dominator of Season 5, Andy Andre. Congratulations on yet another win. That's kind of been the tale of your season, and you were ahead of just about everybody by just over 20 seconds. What an emphatic win.
Yes, indeed it was. I really love this track, and yeah, but just kind of to seem to be able to pull together amazing performances here. So really happy about how this race went on, and pretty much the whole season. It's been really great. It's been really great for me.
And absolutely, and well, capping that off, of course, we saw rain come on the track, but we didn't really see it change the track conditions. Can you try? I mean, I'll probably ask this to the other drivers as well, but like, what was kind of going on? Are you able to explain that?
Yes, it started to rain pretty early on, but it just didn't get wet enough to be necessary to transition to the inters, and I just kept pushing on in every stint and going long, expecting the rain to come on harder, but it just never did. So in the end, I ended up only using the softs, and yeah, happily I didn't go by instinct there and didn't risk anything going early on the inters, because yeah, I think they would have been quite a bit slower. But yeah, luckily I managed to make some good decisions regarding the strategy, and it got me this amazing gap at the end. So yeah, happy about how it went.
And absolutely, and now, of course, this gives you excellent momentum going into the next game as well. Of course, after tonight, we'll of course forever be away from F124. A lot of good memories for you, of course, memorable battles with Herman throughout seasons 3 and 4. But just kind of looking at the game overall and like season 5 as well, are there any sort of memories you would like to look back on?
Yeah, it's been a good game, a good couple of seasons for me. I don't remember any particular race to be exact. Just the whole season, the whole calendar. It's been great for me, and especially having it streamed and commentated. And big thanks for that, by the way. Yeah, just knowing I can always watch it back and show it to some friends I have that are really interested about the stuff. It really it's great for me. It's a good memory.
And well, as we are saying goodbye to F124 at the end of this broadcast, I guess what I really want to ask is, do you have any sort of final words for everybody here before I move on to our second place driver?
Uh, I don't know what to say right now on the spot, but yeah, just pretty much thank you to everyone for being here every week and for racing cleanly and respecting the format that Quincy has set out. And it I don't know how it was for the others, but it was very entertaining for me, for sure. And yeah, just every week I couldn't wait for the race day. And yeah, it's been a great season, and thank you to all that that took part.
Andy, congratulations on world champion. Congratulations on yet another win in season 5. I will look forward to seeing you on F125.
Yep, thank you. All the best until then.
We move on to our second place driver. It is Vincenzo. Congratulations and welcome back to the podium. It's great to see you again. How did that play out for you? Bit of interesting strategy with the rain, but nobody could quite figure that out. And in the end, it didn't really affect the race at all. Can you just take us through those 26 laps in your eyes?
Hi, everybody. Sorry for my English because it's very bad. Uh, Nothing. I improve in this track. I like this track, but Andrew is very, very fast. Too much fast. Uh, Nothing. I hope the next game, the new game, uh, this.
Well, thank you very much, Chenzo. There, just one last question for you. I'll keep the questions short and sweet, just to accommodate for you. But any message to Quincy and or SSRL in these in this final broadcast from F124?
Sorry, it's possible you repeat slowly.
No problem. Any final words for F124 or the league?
Uh-huh. I understand. I told you my English is very
Okay.
bad.
Genzo, congratulations on second place.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you again in the commentary box. Welcome back to SSRL. Congratulations again on that fantastic
Sorry,
race.
sorry.
No need to apologize at
Thank
all.
you.
It's great to have you.
I promise I improve my English for
Don't
next
worry.
time.
Don't worry about it. You're okay. I will move on in that case then to our wonderful Scotsman. It is Danger David. Congratulations on third place there. Had a bit of bashing there with Bavish there on the final few laps there. And in the end, you just couldn't quite bring the pressure to the McLaren. Can you just take us through that entire race and those last few laps in your own rise?
It was a good race. It was a bad decision to go into the intermediates. Obviously, prior experience around Silverstone, it seems like as soon as the track gets wet, it's pretty quick that it crosses over. So that was a big mistake, and that obviously put me back towards that pack. If I'd stayed out, I think I would have been a bit closer to Andy.
Mhm.
Probably not the same level as him, but that's hindsight. The final laps, the grip was starting to drop, so as Energetic said, it was a pure racing incident. We both went into a corner side by side. There was very little grip for him on the inside. He understeered. It is what it is. It was a good race. I had a great fun battle with everyone.
Absolutely. And with that wet weather coming in, you obviously went on to the intermediates there, but obviously they just didn't quite fire up. And how far back did that set you from your race target, so to speak? I can't quite think of another word.
I think it probably cost me about, I think maybe 15, 16 seconds. Just because obviously initially when I came out of the pits, I had about a 4 or 5 second gap, I think, to about Bavish, and he caught up quite quickly. So I just think that if I'd stayed out, kept in the dry tyres, maybe 14, 15 seconds. I wanted to believe that. And obviously I got caught up in quite a few battles on the intermediates. So here's what it is. You make mistakes. It was a fun race, and it's nice to try different strategies and see what it does. But unfortunately today, didn't work out.
All right then. And I guess just a final couple of questions for you. Like, what are your wishes going into F125?
I just think I'm going to have to put in a bit more work. I think recently I've not put in the practice before the races. 30 minutes, an hour before the race. It just doesn't feel like enough. So I think I need to commit a bit more to that. Overall, though, I'm looking forward to the new game. It looks pretty cool. I think it's going to produce some fun racing. And I think for yourself, if you're going to be a commentator, it'll look amazing. The cars on the track. So I think it's going to be a fun season. And of course, we've got a really good bunch of drivers all around us. Every week's exciting. So I just think that'll carry into the next season. It's good fun.
David, thank you very much. Of course, we look forward to seeing you again next season, and well, we wish you a very good break. And of course, any final words for SSRL from yourself, David, as well?
Just thanks to everyone. Quincy's putting in a fantastic effort. All the drivers are committing, they're showing up every week, full grid. You've got yourself and Herman that have been doing the commentary. Herman's been stepping in for the races, so I think props to absolutely everyone. Everyone's gave it 100%, and that's what makes this league at the end of the day. So thanks, everyone.
He said, and David, thank you very much for taking my questions. Congratulations on third yet again. And that's it now, guys. That's F1 24. That's all wrapped up. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and well, we'll see you perhaps at some point soon. But other than that, yep, that is very much the end. So that is all. F1 24 is complete, and we will go into a new game for season 6 of SSRL. Can anybody at all bring a bit of a fight to Andy RJ? Will somebody end that 4 in a row winning streak that Andy has put on? Will Herman come back and bring the pain, or will David come back? Will fellow Son bring something into the next season? I guess you're just gonna have to wait till and find out. But my duty on F1 24 is not fully done just yet. Tomorrow night, I have a commentary elsewhere, and then that will be my final goodbye on F1 24. That will be my final ever broadcast on that game, and I'll look forward to hopefully seeing some of you there. That'll be at 8 PM BST. But from myself and SSRL, we wish F1 24 adieu. We look forward to starting a new chapter in about a month's time. I'll keep you updated on when the season is going to start again. You can also keep up to date on the SSRL YouTube channel to see when things develop. I'll give you a link to that in just a few moments' time. But otherwise, enjoy whatever races are next to come in the F1 season, and we will see you again on a new game, F1 25. But until then, wherever you may be in the world, we wish you a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Stay safe, stay alive, and I'll get that link to you in just a few moments. But other than that, everybody at SRL, goodbye, and see you on F1 25.